Job requires blood drug test to test for marijuana. I recently applied for a job and during my phone screening yesterday they mentioned that they do a blood drug test that includes marijuana. The idea that I will have to go to a lab and give blood to prove to a company I don't smoke weed seems really odd to me. Granted, marijuana only stays in your blood for 12 hours, so I would be able to pass. I just hate that I have to change my lifestyle for a job. I'm still gonna go to the interview and maybe take the job if it's offered to me. Just something I wanted to get off my chest. When I was interviewing at Google, I asked the hiring manager about next steps, background check, drug test, etc. He stopped me mid-sentence, took off his glasses and said, "This is Bay Area tech. If we drug tested we wouldn't have any employees, lol. Get high during the test, establish dominance." It's humorous to me that basically every professional job doesn't have drug tests at all, except maybe if you do something really dumb or get hurt. And then you got retail and low-end jobs that want a drug test to oblivion. You would think this would be literally the polar opposite. Don't you want your doctors and lawyers and bankers and engineers to be drug-free over the guy who hates his job stocking groceries on the shelf? Like, I almost think retail should come with weed and a THC vape pen and they compete by wages, hours, and weed benefits, lol. Marijuana definitely stays in your blood for more than 12 hours, big dog. This same thing happened to me with a new doctor. Because I have one prescription that is on the list, they wanted me to take a drug test that I am not taking other drugs, and pay for it. I spent 10 years as a federal contractor. Smoked the whole time. Beyond our pre-employment whiz quiz, we only had to worry about getting tested for on-the-job injury. Never tell anyone you smoke and be safe. My job doesn't test. They'd have 0 employees if they tried. Rolling on the floor laughing, I knew someone that worked at a nursing home and they didn't drug test because they knew no one would pass the marijuana portion. And I'm in Iowa. It's illegal here, but I know more smokers than non. I am against drug testing and yet I love peeing in a cup. Where I live, it is illegal to discriminate against people with a medical marijuana license. There are exceptions, such as someone who does something with safety implications or who work for a federally funded operation. Truck driver, forklift driver, someone who works in a school, etc. Employers get absolutely livid when someone who specializes in staffing and operations with a HRM Masters and MBA, consults for them and tell them they can't not hire someone because of a license. They then usually ask me how they can, covertly, rescind the job offer. I usually tell them that they can use whatever excuse they want, but that discriminating against someone who is disabled is illegal, as usually those that hold a medical cannabis license are treating an illness or disability. One time one of the business owners laughed in my face and asked if I actually believed that. I stared that boomer dead in the eye and asked him if he has some kind of superpower that sees everyone's invisible disabilities, and if so, what mine looked like. He ended up not filling the 3 spots he wanted me to consult on, but had 3 very good qualified candidates that he passed over. One was a cannabis patient that was open about it. One was a single mom without a car. She was taking a ride-share service. And one was turned completely off by his rudeness in the interview. He is also one of the businesses that took to Facebook to complain about how no one wants to work, when he repeatedly refused to raise wages from $7.50 per hour. I have a policy of reporting clients who do illegal things. He was no exception. I worked in software and applied at a consulting company. The interview went great. They offered me a job, and then sent an email that said, as discussed, We'll need a clean UA and credit check before your start date. I said no. This was never discussed and you will not be getting a clean UA from me because I smoke weed. Well, they pretty much completely backed down and said it wasn't their requirement. It was a requirement of one of their clients if you go on site. And I probably wouldn't be working with that client anyway. But it would make everyone's life easier if I could just pass a UA for them. Go buy some fake piss, they said. It works great. So I did. And it was so strange. I felt like a criminal just trying to get a job. Although at least in my case it didn't matter at all if I got caught. But you have to warm it up in the microwave. Smuggle it in your waistband with a hand warmer tied to it. The place had me roll down my socks for them but didn't search me other than that and the bathroom. Door was closed the whole time while I dumped the warmed up fake piss in their sample cup. And of course, it passed the test. I stopped 2 weeks prior to being asked to come check out a place that was looking for an operator. The guy offered me the job after we toured the place and talked about past experience. He wanted to get me in ASAP, so asked if I could go to the pee test the following day. I flat out told him I had recently quit and was likely to fail. He told me that was fine as long as I didn't have any hard stuff on the results. I was there 2 weeks when I got a call informing me of the presence of weed in my system. I don't know about blood, but it stays in your pee for a lot longer than 12 hours. Violates bodily autonomy. What you do when you're not at work isn't their concern. What's next? A rectal exam to ensure a healthy diet? Jesus. Who is the employer? I don't think that an employer can test your blood for drugs. Even working at hospitals where they drew blood for vaccination and titer verification, they could only test urine. If they try, tell them you have a religious exemption and request a piss test, use extreme. It's absolutely insane. Employers are so invested what we do in our private lives. I understand for dangerous jobs where you need to be clear-headed, but for other jobs it is just insane to me to control to that extent. People should be allowed to smoke weed. Are you sure it's blood? Weed tests are usually piss tests. Also, weed is detectable in the body up to a month after consumption. If you've smoked, eaten weed within 12 hours of the test, you're gonna fail. Marijuana can be detected in your blood for up to 30 days or longer. Ethically, I think that testing for drugs is wrong. Sure, if you're operating heavy machinery, don't have hard drugs in your system. But weed? It's such an invasion of privacy for a job to dictate what someone does on their off time. Edit to clarify. I never said smoke and then go use a machine. I just don't like that a job tests for something that, depending on the type of test and the person in particular, can take between 12 hours for blood tests and 30 days urine tests to get out of a system. That's it. I don't smoke weed, but I'm against hair tests because I don't really care for having a bald spot thanks to some lady in HR. Who TF is giving you a blood test? We just do urine at my call center.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.